Where are we at today, Deborah? What's this place?
This is Coffee Court in Carthage, North Carolina.
How long y'all been open?
About 4.5 years.
Do a lot of people come in here?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of lawyers come. A lot of people come through for the antiques and stuff. Y'all need to come on by and see us.
Well, thank you so much for having us here and letting us interview Larry Kissell today. And we really appreciate your help on that. And thank you for your hospitality.
Oh yeah, thank you for coming in. And y'all come on back. We do lunches and breakfast and we're open 6 days a week.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good evening and welcome to UP News. I'm your host, Wade Norris, and today we're in North Carolina talking to Larry Kissell, who lost his congressional challenge to Representative Robin Hayes by the closest margin of loss or victory in the United States, midterms of '06. Larry, welcome to the show.
Hey, Wade, appreciate it.
Well, Larry, tell me about why you decided to run and challenge Robin Hayes, and what are some of the issues you care about here in North Carolina?
Well, there was several factors that came into play. I had been to South Africa, of all places, with my family to visit a friend, and had seen where Nelson Mandela had been held in prison, read his autobiography, and saw what difference it can make when one person stands up. And looking into the eyes of my students, I'm a high school teacher, I said, you know, nobody's looking after their future. They have no idea what we're doing to them, and my generation needs to do better. And I said, I think we can. I really believe in this nation and our system of government. I said, you know, what happens if one person does stand up or if they don't stand up? And I said, we've got to stand up. So I had no idea how successful I would be. We came very, very close.
330 votes?
330 votes.
And was there a recount?
Well, there was actually 2 recounts. There was just a quick run through to make sure the machines were right, and we were still close enough. They had come back to a hand-eye recount to make sure. And we saw before they had done everything that it wasn't going our way enough, so we said, hey, listen, that's what we wanted to see, just to make sure. We just wanted to make sure that what the people wanted to happen did happen. And unfortunately, we came up a little bit on the short side, but I feel good.
1/10 of 1%?
Around 0.2%,
okay.
whatever.
Yeah, and your district here in North Carolina covers it's the largest House congressional district in the state?
Well, we have a large area. We cover from, and it's a very diverse area. The western part of the district, Mecklenburg County, which is Charlotte, metropolitan very much. You come through the center part of the district, very typically rural southern areas, and then you finish up in the eastern part of the district, Cumberland County, which is Fayetteville, which is the Fort Bragg military area. So it's a very diverse area, but very consistently working class people.
Lots of people that have grown up working as farmers or manufacturers?
Mostly manufacturing in the textile area, and of course we lost some of those jobs quickly because of the trade deals. And
such as NAFTA?
NAFTA was very much part of it, CAFTA more recently, and just as I typically say, you know, we knew the changes would come eventually, but they just came so quickly. The towns didn't have a chance to adjust, the people didn't have a chance to adjust. So we're listed as one of the 20 poorest congressional districts in the nation, and the people are too good. They're too good at workers, they're too qualified to do things, they just need the opportunities that was taken away from them.
Now your opponent, Robin Hayes, was the deciding vote?
He was the deciding vote on CAFTA. It's famous in this area. He had said repeatedly he would not vote for CAFTA, and actually he said right before the election he was flat out horizontally opposed to CAFTA. But he did vote against CAFTA, but then they came to him and convinced him to change his vote, so he was the deciding vote to put CAFTA into place. So one of the reasons why our campaign has taken on a national appeal is they recognize one person's vote here in North Carolina can affect workers everywhere. So we are nationally recognized, and we are #1, targeted campaign this time around because they recognize that this is a district that can be won, and this is a district where we need to get a working person in there.
Right, and coming from a working class background, you understand the realities of what happens when a trade agreement passed by someone in Washington, it takes their jobs right out of town.
I was in textiles for 27 years. I graduated from Wake Forest University and economics major, went into textiles, and it was a good job to a lot of people for a lot of years. But then we saw when NAFTA was passed, and And there was problems even before that with foreign imports, but it just made the playing field, we couldn't compete anymore. So I had switched to teaching 6 years ago. Our plant wasn't closed at that point in time. I just said I wanted to do something that I felt would impact the future at that point in time more directly than working in textiles. So I switched to teaching 6 years ago, and it was about a year and a half later our plant actually closed.
Wow. So you've got friends and former fellow employees that you know that are now out of work because of these trade deals.
A lot of good people that just, you know, they may not be out of work because they have to work, but there'd be less money, less benefits. They're very concerned that their kids will not have the same opportunities, have a better life. Normally the American dream, we want our kids to do better. They're concerned their children won't have the same opportunities without having to leave these communities.